Have you ever thought that taking trips in old age might do more harm than good? As we grow older, the idea of exploring new places can still seem exciting, even nostalgic. But what many seniors don't realize is that travel after 65 comes with risks and challenges that often go unnoticed until it's too late. It's not about giving up on news experiences, it's about knowing what your body and mind can handle and what they quietly no longer welcome. In this video, we're going to explore 5 important reasons why traveling in old age may no longer be in your best interest, from hidden health risks to emotional stressors you may not have expected. Each point reveals something that's often overlooked, but deeply important. And if you're already feeling uncertain about that next trip, these signs might just explain why. Stay tuned until the end, because we'll not only explain the problems, but also help you refrain how to seek joy, comfort, and fulfillment in the stage of life without boarding a plane or packing a bag. Let's begin. Number 1. And compromised immunity and exposure to unfamiliar germs. One of the most underestimated dangers of travel and old age is how vulnerable the immune system becomes to unfamiliar environments. While your body may feel steady in day-to-day life, stepping into an airport, a hotel, or even a tourist bus exposes you to a cocktail of viruses, bacteria, and fungi that it has encountered in decades, if ever. And unlike when you were younger, your immune system doesn't bounce back the same way. Even a simple call can spiral into bronchitis, pneumonia, stomach bug, and land you in the hospital. And once an infection sets in, recovery is often slower and more complicated. Consider the stew. Henry of George, 81, who took a cruise with his daughter to celebrate her birthday. By the 3rd day, he came down with what seemed like a mild sore throat, but the ship's closed environment, constant air conditioning, and buffet-style meals didn't help. That sore throat turned into a chest infection, and he ended up being airlifted from a poor hospital. He spent the rest of the trip and weeks after trying to get his energy back. What was meant to be a memory turned into a cautionary tale. It's not just airborne germs either. Changes in altitude, sleep disruption, and different food or water can weaken your defenses even further. Your skin, your gut, and even your nasal passages are more sensitive now, and every small exposure feels bigger. And because you don't always notice it right away, by the time symptoms show up, you're miles from home, without your regular doctor, without your routine, and often without the energy to advocate for yourself. This doesn't mean you need to become fearful or paranoid about every environment you enter, but it does mean recognizing that what feels like a minor risk for a younger person may be a major hazard for you, especially if you're already managing chronic conditions or if your medications compromise your immune system. Even further, staying home doesn't mean staying isolated. It means you can better control your surroundings, your air, your food, to your sleep, your routine, and in a stage of life or your energy is finite. Protecting your health should no longer be a gamble. Traveling used to be about discovery, but sometimes the greatest discovery comes from learning what your body needs now and honoring that. A bubble number. Too long travel increases the risk of blood clots and circular too. Henry Strain. What most seniors don't realize until they experience firsthand is how dangerous prolonged sitting can be, especially on flights or long drives. When you're young, you can cross your legs, fall asleep in cramped seats, and walk away with nothing more than a stiff back. But after 70, your circulation just doesn't work the same. Blood moves more slowly, veins become less elastic, and the risk of deep vein thrombosis, dangerous clots that form in the legs and can travel to the lungs, increases dramatically. Dangerous than walking around. And for many seniors, mobility issues or stiffness make it even harder to get up and move. When they need to add to that, dehydration, changes in air pressure, and anxiety around flying. And you've got a perfect storm that can quietly and seriously harm your health. Even road trips can carry the same risk hours, and a car, limited stops, and infrequent stretching cause the same slow blood flow. You may not notice it at first, but symptoms can creep slowly: swollen ankles, aching legs, a strange tightness in your chest. And by the time you understand what's how, opening your far from your usual clinic, your medical records, and the familiarity of home, the circulatory issues aren't something you can just stretch your way out of once the body slows down. Needs intentional care to keep blood moving safely and steadily. If you have any history of heart issues, blood pressure problems, or past surgeries, this risk multiplies. What seems like a simple trip can lead to complications at all to your independence for weeks or even months. Travel is not the enemy, but ignoring your body's new limits is. And when your blood doesn't move well, neither can you, at least not for long. That's why before you plan your next journey, take a moment to think about the trip your blood will have to make while you're still, because sometimes staying grounded isn't a limitation, it's a decision that keeps you alive and well. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe. Turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3, disrupted medication and medical support. One of the most overlooked challenges of traveling in old age is how travel quietly disrupts your medication schedule and, within your stability, your daily routine, which might feel effortless at home, can unravel quickly when you're crossing time zones, changing sleep hours, or scrambling to remember where you pack your pillow organizer. Even something as simple as taking your heart medication a few hours late or skipping your blood thinner just once can send your body into a spiral that takes days or even weeks to recover from. Imagine someone like Gerald, 76, who traveled to a different state to visit family. On the second day, his meals were delayed, his evening schedule changed, and he forgot to take his blood sugar medication until late in the evening. That one oversight caused dizziness, fatigue, and confusion, symptoms that could have easily been mistaken for something more serious. And that's part of the problem. When your health shifts unexpectedly while traveling, it's harder to tell what's a small hiccup and what's a genuine emergency. And then there's the issue of access at home. If something feels off, you know exactly who to call. Your doctor knows your history, your prescriptions, your allergies, and what side effects are normal for you. But when you're hundreds or thousands of miles away, you're relying on urgent care centers, over-the-counter guesses, and unfamiliar healthcare systems. Even with good travel insurance, the comfort of being understood and cared for in a familiar place is irreplaceable. There's also the risk of running out of medication, losing it in transit, or discovering that your prescription is not available in another country or even another state. For those managing conditions like high blood pressure, irregular heart rhythm, thyroid disorders, or insulin-dependent diabetes, one missing dose can mean the difference between peace of mind and a medical setback. Staying on top of your medication is more than a habit, it's a life-preserving structure. And when travel's accessible and more risky, in your younger years, traveling with a bit of risk might have felt like part of the adventure. But after 70, even a small health issue can turn into an emergency. And when that happens far from home, the outcome often depends not on your willpower, but on the systems in place around you. Unfortunately, emergency care while traveling is rarely straightforward. Whether you're in another state or another country, access to fast, reliable, and appropriate medical attention becomes a complicated maze. Let's take a moment to think about what happens if you collapse in a hotel lobby or feel chest pain on a tour bus. Who will speak on your behalf if you're unconscious? Will the local medical team have access as to your history, your medications, your allergies, or your last lab results. If they need to make decisions quickly, will they make the same ones your regular doctor would? Most likely not. And it's not because they're unskilled. It's because they don't know. You imagine a woman like Ruth, 83, who fell on a cobblestone street during a European river cruise. Her hip fractured. The nearest hospital was over an hour away. And once she arrived, the staff spoke limited English. Her insurance card didn't translate, and her daughter back home couldn't reach the doctors. What could have been a well-managed injury at home turned into a long, confusing ordeal followed by a flight she could barely endure, and a recovery made harder by the stress and disorientation of unfamiliar care. Even in places with good hospitals, the waiting times can be unpredictable, the paperwork overwhelming, and the standard of care. Different travel insurance might help with cost, but it won't give you your usual nurse, your trusted doctor, or the pharmacy that always double-checked your prescriptions. It won't give you the comfort of a medical team that understand how your body typically responds, or the luxury of a home bed and familiar hands. Emergency care, while traveling, isn't just about whether it's available, it's about whether it fits you. And as you age, medical emergencies are less about dramatic accidents and more about subtle shifts, dizziness, blood sugar swings, breathing issues, confusion in unfamiliar environments. These early warning signs are easier to miss. By the time someone realizes what's happening, the window to act may already be closing. So ask yourself, is it worth being 1,000 miles away when your body might need the people, places, and systems that understand at best? Because no trip, no matter how beautiful, is worth the cost of being medically alone. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5, emotional exhaustion and the loss of familiar grounding. Travel is often romanticized as the gateway to joy, discovery, and freedom. But what's rarely talked about, especially for those over 70, is the emotional toll it quietly takes. New pay. Places can overstimulate the mind, disorient your sense of time, and wear down your emotional resilience faster than you'd expect. For many older adults, there's a deep and often unspoken need for familiarity, routines, spaces, and faces that keep us anchored. When those are stripped away, what's left isn't always excitement. Sometimes it's a sense of confusion, loneliness, or unease you can't quite explain. Consider Walter, 79, who took a long-anticipated trip to see a national park he had always dreamed of visiting. But by day 3, he felt oddly irritable. He couldn't sleep in the hotel bed. He missed his morning walk around the block, and he struggled to find the food that agreed with him. When his daughter asked if he was having fun, he smiled weakly and nodded. But inside, he was counting the days until he could go home. It wasn't the scenery that drained him, it was the loss of rhythm, of comfort, of control, of being known. We often underestimate how much your surroundings shape our peace of mind. The corner chair where you drink your coffee, the radio station you trust, the familiar feel of your own bathroom light switch. These aren't just habits, they are emotional anchors. Travel disrupts all of that. And when you've spent decades building a life that fits you like a glove, suddenly wearing a foreign jacket, even for a few days, can feel exhausting. Add to that the subtle pressure of trying to keep up with younger companions or smiling through discomfort so your kids don't worry. The emotional labor of appearing fine can weigh heavier than your suitcase. And when you return home, the recovery isn't just physical, it's spiritual. It's the slow recalibration of your nervous system after being torn away from what ground This doesn't mean you become rigid or unwilling to explore. It means you're wise enough to know that peace is value, that stability is strength, and that you no longer need to chase after things to prove your life. As for in truth, the quiet richness of a walk in your neighborhood, a phone call with a friend, or a meal you've made 1,000 times can hold me more joy than a rush tour of somewhere you're forgetting a week staying home. Doesn't mean you stop living. It means you've started listening to your body, to the quieter wisdom that knows the difference between adventure and anxiety. And that kind of wisdom deserves more respect than any passport. Stamped final thoughts, the service run aboard. If you made it to the end of this video, it means you're someone who takes your health and peace of mind seriously, and that alone put you ahead of the curve. Traveling can be a beautiful experience, but after 70, the rules change. What once felt like freedom can now carry hidden costs, not just to your body, but to your emotional balance, your medical saved, and your overall well-being. Today, we talked about 5 crucial reasons why travel and old age deserves more caution than it off. And guess we covered the way long journeys weaken the immune system, how circulation risk can become dangerous, the disruptions to medications, the danger of emergency care far from home, and the often ignored emotional weight of leaving behind the familiar. These aren't just random warnings, they're truth grounded in real stories, lived experiences, and the wisdom that comes only with time. If anything we discussed today made you pay or feel seen, take a moment to reflect on what your own needs are right now. Aging isn't about losing the ability to explore, it's about choosing how and when to protect what matters most. And sometimes that means saying no to movement so you can say yes to peace. You've earned the right to prioritize comfort over chaos, familiarity of novelty, and stability over stress. You're not missing out. By staying grounded, you're honoring the deep intelligence of a body and mind that knows when enough is enough. So whether you stay close to home or venture out again, let it be on your terms, with full awareness, intentional planning, and respect for your own boundaries. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.